So really, the telling of that story is this complex layering of reveals. You want to reveal that Cole has a secret plan, that Vhagar is involved, that Rhaenys is going to show up, but then there's Aegon. And
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bloomberg, writing for Movie Scene in Sweden.
great.
So I wanted to start out by saying that I will hold this interview back until the 4th episode has aired, so you can speak freely.
Very good.
Because that's a very big episode that very well could have been like a season finale or something, because a lot of stuff happens in that episode. So I wanted to start out by asking how you mapped out what you wanted to portray in that specific episode.
Yes, episode 4 was very complex to break. I mean, it's a seismic moment, I think, in the book and the history, and we wanted to try to do as much justice to it as possible and bring it to life. So we really structured it around this plan that Kristen Cole and Aemond had been working on behind the scenes for quite some time, and we set that up as early as episode 1. The two of them are sort of chafing at the idea that they're being limited by the more tempered voices at the council and Alicent and Otto, and they just want to get out there. They're young men. They want to get out there and get it done
exactly
on their own. So they kind of lay this plan and very complicated plot to draw out one of Rhaenyra's dragons into a trap and have it meet Vhagar on the battlefield. And of course that does play out, just not the way they think it does, because Aegon, through his continued diminishment by all the people around him, decides that he's going to go off and prove himself at battle and shows up unexpectedly. So really the telling of that story is this complex layering of reveals. You want to reveal that Cole has a secret plan, that Vhagar is involved, that Rhaenys is going to show up, but then there's Aegon, and now Aegon and Rhaenys are going to fight, and Vhagar is not going to immediately go into the battle. So it's a fun, I mean, hopefully all the spectacle is there for everybody to enjoy, but I think the fun of watching that episode and hopefully experiencing it is the continual turns of the card as the surprises and reveals build up and build up and build up all the way to the end of the episode.
Yeah, and we'll also mid-air get to see Aemond make that decision to shoot fire on his own brother. We don't know by the end of this episode if the king survives or not. If he does, what will that do to their relationship going forward? One might wonder.
I don't know that Christmas dinner at the Red Keep is going to be quite the same as it was before this. I mean, this is it's a big turn in the world, and we've seen Aemond struggling, I think, with his position and where he sits at the council and what he believes about Aegon and Aegon's suitedness for the throne and the crown. I mean, I think the hopeful takeaway is surprise and shock and leaning forward on your couch and wondering what's going to happen next. So we have to see where that story is going to take us.
Yeah, and on a different place within that same episode, we also get two guest star appearances from the first season with Millie Alcock and Lana Blondell. I knew you obviously liked to work with them on the first season and wanted to bring them back to do something here. How did you guys decide on how to do that, and if it felt right to do that?
Well, hopefully it felt right. I mean, we decided,
well, I liked it.
Good, very well. That's good. I mean, that's the hope, is that we wanted to do something, I think, interesting that felt within the DNA of this world, and we were always fascinated as writers and storytellers with Harrenhal as a place and a location. I mean, it has a bit of a Gormenghast quality to it, or we talked about it a lot as the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. It's long talked about as this kind of haunted place. It was built on a graveyard of these weirwood trees that Harren the Black chopped down and then used to build the castle, and we know that within them is ensconced the power of the old gods of Westeros. and he laid the blood of his enemies into the mortar of the stones, and then the castle was later burned down by Balerion, the Black Dread, and the Conquest. So there's a lot of history all packed in that castle, and it's this broken, haunted place. I mean, that we got into that a bit in the original series when Arya was a resident there with when Tywin was running the Lannister front out of the castle. So we wanted to lean into that, and Daemon is a guy who does not very much believe in the supernatural or the things that he cannot smell and touch and see. Of course, he has a dragon, but the dragon is a real beast to him, not something that's magical or mystical. And we saw him in the first season to kind of deny the existence of this sort of stuff with Viserys, when Viserys would talk about dreams and prophecy, and then Rhaenyra when she talked about the Song of Ice and Fire. I mean, we saw how Daemon reacted. So we thought it would be very interesting for Daemon as a character to have to come face to face with the more mysterious powers that exist in this world, and what kind of pressures that would apply to his character. So it felt like bringing in the ghosts of Daemon's past was an interesting way to grow and evolve his character and force him to reckon with the things, the damage this wake of damage that he's left behind him, and all the people that he supposedly loves.
Yeah, and for my final question, we know that George R. R. Martin wanted to make more seasons of the original Game of Thrones show. Are you guys going to try to honor what he wants to do here? Have you talked about how many seasons you want to make?
Yeah, we've certainly talked about all that. I'm not. I mean, we know where the ending is now. I think the writing team and I and when I say the ending, it's really just where the curtain drops in this particular period of Targaryen history. Because of course, there's after the Dance of Dragons is over, there's still another 100, 120, 150 years of history before the Mad King is overthrown by Robert Baratheon, which is really the end of the Targaryen dynasty, and that leads us into the original series. So yeah, we've talked about it, and I do want to honor as much of what is there in the book, but we also have to find a satisfying conclusion to this story that wraps things up in a different and unexpected way for a giant TV audience. So you're always balancing up kind of the the written history and what making a television show. But I think the fun of Fire and Blood as a whole is it's such a deeply rich and textured history that another writer can follow me in after this and tell a story from the past, from before the Dance of the Dragons, or just after, or maybe many years after, because there are just many other fascinating periods in the Targaryen history to come.
Yeah, thanks a lot for taking your time to speak with me, and best of luck with the premiere.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you.